I'm gonna have you guys tell me. We're gonna do a tale of the tape, and then we're gonna just figure out which movie is gonna take the summer box office between Superman versus the Fantastic Four, based on this random five criteria that I've put together.
Nice.
So Jeff, Josh, you will cast your vote, and if there's a tie, then I'll break the tie.
Okay.
But first of all, on the head-to-head, based on the trailers, which movie are you most excited for? I guess that's the real question. Based on these five categories, which movie are you most excited for? So when it comes to the trailers, I'll throw it to you, Jeff. Are you more excited for Superman, Fantastic Four?
I'm more excited for Superman based on the trailers alone. Just because I love that part where where you can hear under the groundswell of the crowd like chanting Superman's name, and then the music swell. Like whoever's cutting together those trailers knows what they're doing, because it gives you, for an older fan who misses your heroic, everybody loves Superman storylines and whatever, like it gives you that kind of hope where you're like, you hear the people go Superman, Superman. You see a little kid holding on to the flag, and then Superman's going to show up. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm all for it. Whereas the Fantastic Four trailer, everybody already is behind the Fantastic Four, and now they're all afraid that the Fantastic Four is not going to be able to rescue them from this giant thing. And also, it's part of a bigger universe, and they come careening into the Marvel 616 universe at the end of Thunderbolt. So you're like, do things go well? So in my head, the Fantastic Four is part of that bigger Marvel universe thing. It's going to get its own story, but it's going to tether into whatever comes next. Superman's going to be the same, but Superman being its own first movie. And even though there's a bajillion characters that will belong to that universe, I just feel like it's going to be its own, like it will still be its own story, mostly just because I feel like James Gunn is planned for that,
Yeah. All right, Josh, how about you?
Based on the very first trailers that came out for both of them, I had the exact opposite view of Jeff. And the reason why is because I feel like both trailers do a good job of immediately inverting our expectations, right? Think about it. The very first Superman trailer begins with him falling from the sky into the snow bloodied.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell is happening here, right? And then the FF trailer, think about how much the films have dealt with, particularly with Ben, them not being accepted. And that trailer begins with how beloved they are, right? So I kind of went into it with the opposite effect. So for me, I mean, it comes as no surprise, I'm super hyped for FF. I do think my final take at the end will surprise everyone, but that's where I stand currently.
Wow. For the tiebreaker, I think I'm gonna have to go with Superman, because it feels like, even though it's a new beginning, it feels like we're gonna get thrown in the middle of a world that's kind of been ongoing, and I think that's very exciting. Also, as much as I love Herbie, like Crypto just looks adorable, and that should have been one of the categories: Crypto versus Herbie.
Crypto versus Herbie.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna barely edging out, Superman. So Superman takes the trailer category. I'm gonna start with this one with you, Josh, because I think I know what you're gonna say. So for the music that we've heard so far, Fantastic Four or Superman?
I am very impressed with Michael Giacchino's introductory score to FF. So I'm going to go with that, but I feel like I honestly haven't heard any of the official score yet from the new Superman. But if it leans into the original score, it may take the cake.
I thought it was interesting, and we'll talk about the original score, I'm sure, when we get to the main film. But yeah, that's why I picked that category, because we really have only heard one. We've heard the updated version of the Superman theme with the electric guitar and the Superman trailers, and then Fantastic Four, we've only heard that one song from Michael Giacchino. So, Jeff, what about you? Where are you leaning on that one?
Right now I'm leaning towards the Michael Giacchino Fantastic Four. It's stuck in your head. Not that the Superman, the original John Williams Superman stuff is iconic.
Yeah.
But I can't give them that, because it's not the John Williams score. It's going to be like they're riffing off the John Williams score.
Right.
So just alone, I'm just like, yeah, that
I
every time I
agree.
hear the crowd go Fantastic Four, I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's going to be stuck in my head for 5 days. Like,
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like Michael Giacchino has done with that theme the same, like capture the essence of Superman the way that the Superman original theme captured that, and I think that's quite an accomplishment.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
All right, next category. We'll start with Jeff. What about the cast? Which cast has you more excited for the movie?
I'm certainly more familiar with the Fantastic Four cast. I mean, I guess. No, I guess I'm more familiar. It's all the like incendiary, like the other characters.
Yeah.
From Superman, where I'm just like, I know that one guy from Jimmy Olsen from Righteous
That's why I
Gemstones.
picked this Superman
like,
poster, so you can see the little pictures of everyone else.
Yeah, but it's basically David Cornsweet. I've seen him in the Twisters movie, So we're basically down to Rachel Brosnahan and Lex Luthor, who has been in I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's been in
Nicholas Hoult.
Kid actor. Yeah, Nicholas Hoult. Like you've seen him in everything, and he's great. But I feel just because I'm more familiar with the Fantastic Four cast, the Fantastic Four.
All right, Josh, how about you?
Oh God, this one's hard. I
want to make it too easy.
I'm honestly going to go with Superman on this one because as great as I feel like the casting is on both films all around, I have very, very high hopes for, I can never say her name right.
Rachel Brosnahan.
Her as Lois, and also, of course, I'm here for Fillion as as Guy Gardner. And I heard the actor that is playing Metamorpho in a podcast, and and I know he has played mainly bad guys like Zaz and others, but I'm really interested to see him play Metamorpho as well. So again, this is a tight one because I feel like every actor I've seen in FF just looks amazing. But I'm going to go with Superman.
I agree. I think that's it's definitely tougher to pick, but just from what I've seen, also Superman for me takes just a little bit more of the edge. But I think this next category is going to be
I'll be your friend, Pedro Pascal.
The curveball.
I'll hang out with
on
you.
The next one here, and let me show you guys because I don't know.
I'm so glad you have photos because I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know how present you are with these. So let me see. We have here's a smattering of. How do I? Oh, let me remove it. There we go. This is a smattering of the Superman buckets.
Good Lord!
I know. Watch out, wallet.
How many of these
are so many? I do like the dog bowl. That's cute.
The dog bowls are my favorite ones.
Yeah,
because I'm like that makes sense.
Here we have some Fantastic Four stuff. There's a few more.
Where do you get these? I just go to Alamo, so they never have popcorn buckets.
No, Alamo has what I think is gonna be my favorite Superman bucket. But yeah, these like Regal has a bunch, and AMC and Cinemark. So yeah, they're all over the place. I was trying to see if we have. I think these are the big ones for Fantastic Four. I think so. So based on that, and I know you're just forming an opinion because you probably hadn't seen a lot of these. But which way are you leaning on buckets? We'll start with Josh on this one.
I mean, I know it's $80, but that Galactus bucket is killer. I fucking want that bucket, and then I just want to put it on a shelf over here and have Galactus stare at me when I'm doing everything all day long. So I'm going to go with the FF one, although the dog bowl is a very close second.
Yeah. Now, what about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I feel like Superman, the people that are doing the Superman buckets are just throwing as many as they can at you. There are so many there.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four one is like, no, we got Galactus. It's $80, but it's a Galactus head. So you choose. I'm gonna go with the Galactus head because I'm never gonna buy it, but it's so cool. Like it is also the thing that bugged me about the Superman one. There's one where Superman is outside, like it's like a miniaturized popcorn machine. It looks like
bucket.
I'm like, why didn't you make that a phone booth? Like,
right.
It's
Right.
the same shape. It literally could have been a phone booth, and it would have made more sense for Superman.
Why would you put popcorn in a phone booth?
But
Well,
it's a
and
Superman thing. Why would you put popcorn in Galactus's head? Like,
and
you know,
and Jeff, also, the youth don't know what phone booths are, which
that's
I
true.
do.
That's true.
I do love. We'll come back around to it. That is one of my favorite bits from '78 Superman. Is the phone booth.
Yeah.
So,
All right, and then final question, final category. The direct. Oh, I guess so. You guys were both Fantastic Four. I
Yeah.
was also gonna pick Fantastic Four for the buckets. That Galactus thing.
it looks amazing.
It's got handles like
Yeah.
whatever you need on a popcorn bucket.
Mhm.
And then the last one here to break the tie, because I think we're 2-2 in the categories, which worked out perfectly. The director, we have James Gunn directing Superman. We have Matt Shakman directing the Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, I think we are probably a little bit more familiar with James Gunn, but Matt Shakman, if you're not familiar with that, pulling up some other movies he's directed. Actually, he worked on WandaVision. It looks like he's a very prolific TV director.
Yeah, he did a lot of Sunny.
He worked on The Boys, Succession, Monarch, the Godzilla show on Apple TV, Game of Thrones, Always Sunny,
Always Sunny.
Life. So yeah, I think this looks like it's his first like actual big screen thing.
Film.
This yeah. So we'll start with Jeff on this one. James Gunn or Matt Shakman?
I mean, James Gunn certainly has a much bigger list under his belt of more of helming movies and stuff. I feel like James Gunn's got to walk away with this one.
Yeah,
but listening to Matt Shakman's credits, I'm like, well, he might be the new Russo brothers. So
nice. He's gonna split himself into two.
He's gonna split himself into two.
All right, Josh.
I am also going with Shakman, and the reason. Oh wait, didn't Jeff go? Did you pick Gunn or Shakman?
I went James Gunn. I went James Gunn. I was praising Shakman because if he's got a lot of TV credits. And
gotcha. All right, I am going Shakman, and the reason why is because we know James Gunn can deliver, but Shakman, I think, went all out in this movie, from the design to the setting to just, being handed a property that so many others have failed to deliver on, and I think he's going to do it. And so I'm going for Shakman on this one. I love James Gunn, don't get me wrong, but we know James Gunn. Shakman is the wild card here.
Yeah, and so I guess I got to break the tie and decide this whole game, which worked out great for how this is. We didn't plan this. I didn't even tell the guys that we were doing this before the show. So, I think I have to go James Gunn, just because of the pedigree behind it. No pun intended on the crypto of it all. But yeah, I've heard him talk about. I've been watching a lot of interviews with James Gunn recently. I feel like this is it. He's putting everything on the line on this one. Whereas Shakman can always, if the Fantastic Four doesn't succeed, he has a safety net of oh yeah, we have 2 Avengers movies coming out next year, so it's no big deal, right?
We'll just hand off these characters to be included in the Russo brothers Avengers. Right. Yeah.
That being said, I'm very excited for Fantastic Four. So I can't believe we are within a month of both of these movies coming out in theaters. So there you have
within a week of one of them.
Yeah, by the numbers, we have Superman is our most anticipated film based on these 5 categories and nothing else. So there you have it. All right.
I do think they are both very important to their respective studios.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
Marvel has been stumbling.
I know the Fantastic Four aren't really right now in the comics the centerpiece of the universe, but at some point they were. The first family of Marvel. They are.
Yeah.
They are a cornerstone in one of those properties.
And it's been over a decade, and we still haven't gotten them into the MCU. So, yeah.
And the last film, which was about 10 years ago, I think, was a big whiff.
Oh, so fucking awful. Just awful. I hate that movie so much.
Well, speaking of movies,